Hey guys, Alien Matt here, and just wanted to cover some of the materials that I use when I'm building my models. I've always found materials that are being thrown away, stuff that's left over, stuff you'll find at a recycling center. I've always done this. And if you look at my Facebook page, facebook.com/sixth scale vehicles, you'll see progression shots of the models that I made. And I invite you to do the same. Any model that you're going to be using to build vehicles, I would love to see the materials and the techniques you use. Plastic, paper, ceramics, anything. Please share them with this website. And what I want to do is just show you some of the materials that I've used in the production. Right now I've got pictures of the Huey project, which is under the Insomnia name. Little stuff going on there. The Abrams tank is got some photos on there of cardboards that I've used, and the BTR-80 troop transporter. That had newer materials in it that I hadn't used before, and they worked out perfect. Let me get started here. Your basic cardboard. It's your cardboard sheet. It's got the corrugations in there. You can see that. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. There's a very nice smooth side, and there's a little weaker side. Thicker paper, thinner paper. And you can see that there's an undulation inside there. And then on the top part, there's not as much. I tore some of the paper off the back here to show you that it bends a little easier when you've taken the paper off of the backside. Or you can actually take something, give you an example, cut on through, take something and just knock that paper down, and it'll curl even easier. So if you're going over a curve or trying to create a fender or something like that, that's the way that works. And that's one item of corrugated cardboard. There's also, here it is. This is a very thin 1/16 of an inch corrugation of cardboard. You can kind of see it in there. Not really one bad side or a good side on this stuff, but it's nice and stiff though. So you probably want to roll this over something round to get it rounded and smoothed. A little easier to work with when you can do that. But this is the stuff that's in between, in the boxes that are holding jars together, glass items. It goes together, slides together, and you find this inside wine bottle cases sometimes. It's good stuff. I like it. There's a chipboard, which is like a bunch of pulp cardboard put together to make a sheet, and it's a very flexible sheet. Very great to work with. You can find this stuff all the time. You can find it actually in the small cardboard boxes. There's a lot of them that are joined together, create little boxes inside a big box, and that's all chipboard. That stuff is great. The larger sheets you can find at certain stores, but people are going to throw pieces away anyway. Go ahead and grab them. Paper. This is like shopping bag paper. You can buy it on a roll. You can buy it skinny or on a full 4-foot roll. Sometimes they use this to wrap televisions and everything else like that, and you find all this at your recycling center. It's a very good durable paper, and you can use it like a paper mache also. White glue and or wood glue, smooth it all out. You can water dip it. You can do paper mache with flour and water, everything else like that with this stuff. It takes a little bit more to absorb than the newspaper, but once it dries, you can actually sand it pretty well. It'll get fuzzy, then you work it out with wall plaster. You're sheetrocking the same type of wall plaster joint compound. I put that on a model, sand it down smooth all together. Then I put latex paint over the top. Smooth it out. Check out my Huey model. I'd go through that with photographs pretty extensively on that build. When it came to the BTR, the Russian troop transport, I found a material at a recycling center, and I found full 4x8 sheets of this stuff. It was about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick corrugated like a honeycomb with a paper sandwich or sandwiched in between two pieces of the paper like this. Holy smokes, that stuff comes out rigid. This is a 3/8 inch board of it, and you can see that it's got some of the honeycomb. You can see with a reflection here, a little bit of the honeycomb pattern that's inside there, but it's all honeycomb with paper sandwiched in between, and this is pretty thick paper, but literally it's super strong. There's some of the corrugated honeycomb on the inside. So I found sheets of 3/8. I found sheets of 1 inch. They make it in 2.5 inch. The biggest I found, 4 inches. Look at that brick. That is big. Now this undulation I don't worry about, because usually I'm going to take another chipboard piece, cover it, and you'll never see it. Or a paper mache over it. You can actually cut this with a bandsaw and create your curved forms with it, and then paper mache over that. It's just a solid, it is solid, I'll tell you that. But that's what I used, and you can see the photos of it on the BTR top and on the bottom. And really good stuff. The glues that I use, I am a hot glue fan. I glued that thing together with hot glue. To put seams together, I took the really thinner paper than this, and used white glue and wood glue to seal in the seams, and then you can sand it smooth, hardly ever see it. But hot glue is really, I mean, time saver. You're not sitting there waiting for the white glue to dry. It's about 90 degrees here in California, in Northern California, so some glues will dry quicker, some glues will dry too quick. I have used epoxies before, 5-minute epoxy, 2 parts. And another thing that I use is super glue, thin super glue. Sometimes with the chipboard, the thin super glue soaks in and makes it a really solid surface, almost like a ceramic coating on it. You can impregnate it with super glue, cut an edge on it, sand it, and then reapply glue on it, and then sand it down again, and it just works great. Super glue is probably the most expensive, most commonly purchased thing aside from hot glue that I use with my models. You'll see drips, you'll see certain marks on my models. That's just the super glue ran a little bit, and you just sand them smooth or recoat them. Latex paint, you can find latex paint at a recycling center all you want. I get the exterior latex paint. It can be any color, because you can paint right over the top of it again with your acrylics or spray paints, primers. Another item I use is acrylic rod, or something you can find on at a recycling center is actual metal rod, and use that for railings, use that for roll bars, use that for whatever you need to use. Once in a while, I'll need to have something that looks like a radiator or cooling pipes underneath, and that's where I use the corrugation. I peel off one side of the cardboard, and it shows these pipes underneath, and you can actually use that to make it look like a radiator of some sort in a small space, covering up. You need something to hide, make a vent out of an engine or something like that, and that's the closest thing you can do. Screen materials, everything I find at a junkyard, or I find at a garage sale. Get rid of this screen door, I don't need it anymore. Well, that's metal structure that you could use in one of your models. If you're making a helicopter, you put the metal bar right down the tail. But different materials. So again, that's just kind of the throw together of the materials I use. I'm just going to point out one thing. This is a TARDIS that my daughter and I built, and that's really thin cardboard with blue painter's tape wrapped around it. This is foam core. This is white foam core with one side cut, and then cut in slices, and then wrapped around and glued together to make it look like an octagon. It's got a hole in the side here because my daughter put a backpack through it and she wore it on her back at a convention. But that's a small size TARDIS. It's probably 1 foot by 1 foot, and just you can do stuff like that. Over here, I don't think you can see it. There's my dewback model. I'll get into that later. That's foam and chicken wire. That's like costuming materials. Any questions, let me know. Facebook.com/6th scale vehicles. 6, capital T, capital H, scale vehicles is all in lowercase. Hope this helps out, and there'll be more to come. Please send me messages. Send me back info. Let me know if you have any questions or if this helped. Have a great day.